Mel Albin. I'm the host and the founder of the Jazz Confusion
My
Power
name
Hour.
is Dion Parson, and I'm honored to share my passion of music with you, our listening audience, through my cultural heritage.
Things can change for you too. If you want to be brand new, that is absolutely possible.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mel Albin. I'm your host tonight, and welcome to Hitmakers. Hitmakers is a very special to me. I founded Hitmakers as a way in which people can get to know an artist who has had many hits over the years and has a current hit out there today. And the goal of Hitmakers is to let you know what goes into making a hit and what goes into making an artist who devotes many years and so much time and effort to produce the music that everybody loves. So that's what lies behind Hitmakers. We're going to bring you the best artists in jazz, R&B, and soul, any jazz crossover, whether it's jazz gospel or jazz pop or jazz hip hop. We bring you the best in the world of jazz. Our goal of the Source Radio Network is to preserve jazz and promote jazz artists because jazz is the only true American music art form. And so we're very proud that we support and the heritage of jazz and also promote the artists who bring jazz to the world and to everybody's enjoyment. We broadcast Hitmakers on Source in both streaming 4K video live and also in Dolby True HD. We're the only station in the country that broadcasts in Dolby True HD, so the sound quality is excellent. Let me tell you a little bit about Source Radio before we get to our artist tonight. Source is a nonprofit 501c3 radio station. We support two things, jazz, as I've mentioned, and also Black micro businesses and minority micro businesses. These are home businesses or businesses that comprise 95% of all Black and minority businesses in the US, but they don't have the money to be able to get on Amazon, to get on Shopify. They have no money to get on radio and to broadcast their services and also their products. So in conjunction with Shop Like Enterprise, our sister company, we promote the generational building of wealth within Black businesses in communities. And those are the two things we do, jazz and supporting Black and minority micro businesses. So that said, we rely on the public to make donations to the station. And many of the artists, practically just about all the artists we have on the show, also, we promote them and they donate to the station so that we can continue to promote artists and also jazz throughout the world. Source broadcasts in over 200 countries to over 16,000 affiliated stations connected through MFM digital broadcasting in the UK to some of the biggest stations. The BBC, for example, carries a lot of our shows. We've had a number of great artists on both Hitmakers and the other show we have, the Jazz Confusion Power Hour, and those artists include Eric Robeson, Mesa, Brian Culbertson, Paul Brown, Raheem Devon, Dwelle, Jay Brown, Yulia, Blake Aaron, Terry Wollman, Greg Adams, Her, Celine Johnson, Erin Stevenson, Mavis Swan Poole, Cecily, the late Bobby Caldwell, Jeff Bradshaw, Dion Parson, Tammy McCann, Jeff Beck, and Eric Burden. That's just to name a few. We've had over 150 artists since we created Hitmakers and the Jazz Confusion Power Hour. Today, we're going to bring you another incredible guest artist, someone that I've been wanting to have on the show for several years now. With over 30 plus years in the industry, there are numerous accolades attached to this particular artist. She is on The Voice in season 24. She has been chosen by Reba McEntire to be on her team in season 24. Multi-talented, all the performing arts can give, including she does improv, dramatic acting, dance, choreography. and a 5 octave vocal range. A 5 octave vocal range is extraordinary. I think the broadest I've ever heard was Phoebe Snow, who had 8 octave range, but 5 is off the chain. You don't hear that very often. So this is a very gifted singer-songwriter, arranger, and a thespian, and she's been sought after by some of the industry's best, most diverse, and accomplished artists and producers, including Walter Afanasieff, Marcus Miller, Patrick Leonard, Steve Jordan, and the great Phil Spector. She has shared the stage with many respected artists such as Boz Scaggs, Michael McDonald, the Dukes of September, Huey Lewis and the News, Queen Latifah, Dee Dee Bridgewater, Joe Bonamassa, and a featured vocalist for the Dancing with the Stars 2006 Winter Tour, performing a duet with the music legend Johnny Mathis. She's on the 2008 release, A Night to Remember, harmonizing with the late, great man of soul. Solomon Burke was another one, and rocking out with the iconic Don Fielder of the Eagles. Faith Hill, Tim McGraw on their Soul 2 tour, and Lenny Kravitz, Black and White America, an 8-week European tour, lending support and featured lead vocals with tours, and she's open for Raphael Sadiq. She's performed for Presidents Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama at his historic inaugural ball. And I can go on and on about this artist, but rather than me keep talking, let me introduce tonight's special artist, and I'm very honored to have her, Ms Monet. Welcome.
Hi. Hey. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. It's such a pleasure to have you on. I just told everybody I wanted to have you on for such a long time. And finally, the day has arrived. So I'm really pleased to have you here.
We have finally made it together. Look at this. Thank you for having me. Absolutely.
It's my pleasure. Let's begin by talking about what's cooking, what's going on right now. What's going on for the rest of 2024 and 2025. I'd like everybody to know what you're doing.
Wait. He froze up a little bit.
What? Hello?
Okay, there you are.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just asking if you can please share with everybody what you're doing for the rest of 2024 and 2025.
Oh, wow. The rest of 2024, we are in the second day of October. And it's funny because someone said yesterday, September came and went like it has somewhere to be. That's how fast, that's how I feel how fast this whole year has gone. But for the remaining of the year, just kind of winding down and enjoying just a little bit of downtime, even though my downtime doesn't calculate as down, because I'll still be doing shows with Will Downing that we have coming up for usually our fall and winter shows before the holiday, and I'm starting to prep for my theater show that I'm doing at the beginning of the year at the Lesher in Walnut Creek, California. So that's what I'll pretty much be kind of wrapping my head around and getting prepared for 2025. And then the Smooth Jazz Cruise coming up. I'm a principal artist there, so gonna come into 2025 with a bang.
Wonderful. Are you planning any new recordings, new releases?
Yeah, well, like I said, we just did our latest release, and I think I'm going to, in the next couple of weeks, record a Christmas song because I've always wanted to do it, and so I'm going to try to get a Christmas song done and ready to go for everybody for the holiday season. And so that's another thing that I'm like, oh yeah, we've got to do that. So when we just came up with that idea like maybe 3 days ago. So
well, I have a suggestion. I have a suggestion. Since you've already done a duet with Johnny Mathis, Chestnuts Roasting on Open Fire is Johnny Mathis' classic signature Christmas song.
Right. And that was the thing. It was like, and if I do a song, what song is it going to be? What Christmas song would it be? And we were throwing out different ideas, but we kind of came up with one. And I said, okay, I think this will be great. So I spoke with a dear friend of mine, Randy Imada, who is an amazing producer and writer and arranger. So I told him, this is the idea, this is the song, let's do it. And he was like, Mo, I got you. So we're going to try to get that on board and have that ready to go for the Christmas holiday.
Wonderful. Okay, let's start. Let's move on and let everybody get to know you a little bit better. So
Okay.
I want to talk about your amazing 5 octave voice and
Yeah.
your vocal range. It's both in modern and classical music, from what I understand. And what was your household like when you were growing up? Your family, was there music in your household? I mean, how did you come to find out you had this talent? And did you find out in your family?
Music for me, it was just it's an innate thing. Everyone in my family, on both the paternal and the maternal side, they're into music. They were, my father, biological father, was a vocalist. Actually, he sung with Marvin Gaye for about 13 years, and Marvin
Oh,
is one of
wow.
my godfathers. And then my mom, oh, and his mother, excuse me, she was a classically trained vocalist, and so that was that part. But then on my maternal side, my mother, my grandparents were gospel singers and gospel promoters, and so we had a lot of gospel artists coming through. On that side, so there was just the big gospel side of singing, and growing up with uh, R&B and everything from that aspect. And so when you have classical and then soul and gospel kind of all mesh on both sides of your head, you can't help but just to be who you are. And it was just something that always was there. It just was me finding my voice. And once I found it, I just ran with it.
So did you sing with your family, with your parents?
Not necessarily sing with my family because I guess they were always singing around me when I was going to church and in the choir and all that. But just sitting there watching them sing, watching my grandmother sing. My grandmother, like I said, my grandfather was a pastor of a church. So, I grew up, my mother was a PK, or pastor's kid. And of course, I grew up a grandchild of a pastor's kid. But growing up in that church environment, we were always at whether it was a service on Sunday or a choir rehearsal or a musical, it was always something going on musically. So to sit and watch, like my grandmother, like I said, who was a gospel singer, and I always wanted, Geneva Brown, my grandmother, I always wanted Geneva Brown to sing a song, sing a song, sing a song. And so to watch her do it all the time, and then my mother, who was also, known to be this amazing vocalist, to watch them just do it all the time. It was just, I was just sitting there just picking from it, learning and learning and learning. So when I was 7 years old, and my cousin Barbara Jean Davis, who was another, just amazing vocalist, who just kind of took me under her wing at 7 and made me sing my first solo in church, and said, "This is the song you're going to sing," and just kind of busted me open from that point on. And it was just me singing all the time.
Wow. Who were
Mhm.
some of the early influences in music that you listened to on the radio or at home?
The early influences, radio. Um, of course, I went through, growing up listening, hearing Aretha Franklin in my home as a child, hearing Dionne Warwick as a child, and my mother and my parents, like I just say, just my mom, but my parents didn't discriminate when it came to just music. I heard every genre. And at home in the Bay Area in Oakland, where I'm from, there was a radio station called KDIA, or 1310 and AM. And it played everything. So I would, my mother is always listening to, so we were listening to everything from Creedence Clearwater to Earth, Wind and Fire to Led Zeppelin to Bowie to Aretha to Shaka to Streisand. I mean, it was just music all the time. And that's how I was programmed as a child. So to hear all these different artists come through, it was just like everything. So, but in the home, I would say Aretha probably just was the first voice that was like, wow, And then, but I'm digging as a child, I'm digging through the greats. You got to remember, my father's a singer, and his group, they would come rehearsing, at our home in the basement, and I'm listening to them sing. So, as I'm hearing Aretha from my mom, I'm hearing like Marvin Gaye from my dad and Donny Hathaway. You know what I mean? So it's just like these were like the first, I think, voices that kind of stood out for me as a child to make me kind of raise up like, what's that?
As you started to get a little older, I've always maintained that the city and the environment in which you're raised has a profound impact on the development of an artist. And you being around the San Francisco, Oakland Bay area, You
Mhm.
exposed, like you mentioned, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Tower of Power, War. There was so many groups out there. The Eagles. I can go on and on about all the music that surrounded you. Where did you hang out when you started to get into your teens? Were the clubs or music venues?
It's funny you ask because I started um, at 15 years old. I started singing in clubs. And shout out to my uncle Tony Dwayne, who was a guitarist and put me on stage at 14 in the club. And we talked about this, not so long ago. And he said they didn't want you in that club to perform because I was a kid. I wasn't supposed to be up in there. And I literally sung my song. And then when the set was over, they'd rush me off stage and I had to go sit in the back office because I'm
Yeah,
not supposed to be in the club, right? I'm not
that's
supposed to
right.
be here.
What,
So
what, what were you singing? What kind of music?
I'm singing, all the R&B stuff, soul, emotions, and Aretha, and I'm singing all this stuff as a 14-year-old kid, and
Wow.
inside the club. And then, like I said, when first set is over, they rush me off, and you have to sit. And my uncle Dwayne, my mother's baby brother, he would go with me and everything, and he was like my acting manager because he would just sit there and have to watch me and everything. And then when it's time to go sing, they let me come back up and sing. He's, oh, they didn't want you in there, but they couldn't deny you because everyone loved it, you
That's
know.
great.
So that was at the club was called Jeffrey's Inner Circle, and Jeffrey's still exists in Oakland today, not
Still
in
there.
on 14th and Broadway in Oakland.
Wow. Great.
Jeffrey Inner Circle. So shout out to Uncle Jeffrey Pete, who allowed me to sing in his club. And to this day, he's like, you can sing here anytime. So,
Well, now you're street legal.
yeah, you can sing here anytime now. I'm like, yeah, Uncle Jeff, okay.
You don't have to sit in the office anymore.
No, I don't have to sit in the office anymore. I don't. But
Did you
yeah,
play? Did you ever play a musical instrument at all?
no, in my head, I thought I could play piano, and I thought I was Herbie Hancock in my head, but no. I have a piano. I have a baby grand, but I always said I'm going to sit down on it. I can tinkle a little bit, but I never actually picked up an instrument and started to learn it and make it a part of my being. Something I always wish I wanted to do because I always thought it was so cool when people could just sit down at the piano and start singing. And I was like, yeah, that's sweet. That's what I'm talking about. I can sit down and just be like, yeah, okay, this is cute. I can't do nothing. So
There's been a few. There's always been piano men, but there's been a few piano women like Carole King. You know,
yes,
yeah,
great.
and Carly Simon. They all played. They played. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, you're
So that would
so
have.
right. You can keep
Yeah,
calling them out. Roberta
yeah.
Flack,
Roberta Flack. That's right.
you know.
Look, I know you're multi-talented. You've been acting. You do choreography and dance. You do so many things. But I want to focus on music a little bit.
Okay.
So I want to continue in this vein, and we'll get to everything a little bit later on. In public school, in high school, did you play an instrument, or did you sing in the choir? Or
Yeah, like I said, I didn't play an instrument, but I did sing in choir. I did sing in school choir, and they just kind of put me in school choirs from, again, 7 years old. The moment they heard me sing in school, it was like there was a musical teacher who would go from school to school to school in our school district named Mr. French. And Mr. French just had a thing about my voice. He was kept saying, how are you singing like this as a child? And I was like, I don't know. It just happens. And Mr. French would make sure, and we would have these little musicals in school and plays, and he'd make sure that I was singing in that play. And so, and that was, like I said, in elementary school. By the time I got to junior high and high school, of course, I was in the choirs and everything. And then when I got to high school, our choir lead director, Mr. Granville Oldham, he's another one who just kind of curated a different side of voice for me, allowed me to develop, not just how I naturally had been developed and come from church and all that, but he helped me develop into my classical region, which allowed me to just kind of grow even more so and discover even more of my voice as of what it could do. I knew what it could do naturally, but once I got with Granville in high school, I just developed a different spectrum within my voice. So yeah, high school choir definitely helped manifest me into who I am today.
When did you realize you had a 5-octave voice?
By accident. Truly by accident. My best friend Holly would tell you, we were in the kitchen one day, and of course, Mariah Carey came out, Vision of Love, and She's All the Thing. And then of course we all know Minnie Riperton and all the stuff. And I always I don't know if you remember, there used to be a commercial of Ella Fitzgerald, and she
Sure.
broke the glass, right?
Yes, I
And
remember
I
it.
always was like, I want to break glass like that. And my mother was laughing. She was like, well, you can't practice. And I was like, okay. I never could understand the concept. I just know I can hear it, but I never. And one day we were in the kitchen, and I'm singing the Mariah Carey song, and I'm just playing around with it, and I just did something. I went, and, and I said, oh. And then I was like, what did I do? And she's like, wait, no, what? And I was like, oh my God, what happened? And then she's like, do it again. I was like, I don't know how. I don't know what I did. I had no understanding of what I did with my voice. I couldn't tell you. And even to this day, I cannot explain it. I just know.
Did you ever have any formal voice lessons where a vocal coach? None. I never did it. Interesting. All right.
Never.
Well, after public school, what did you do? You went to college, or what did you do next?
So after, high school, I'm a senior in high school. I'm about to graduate. And I, at the time, I was being pseudo managed by a gentleman named Clay Tobin Richardson. Shout out to Clay. And because he's one of those people who had me singing in the clubs too, but now I'm a little older. But he heard about an audition of a group, a very well-known group in the Bay Area that was looking for female vocalists to back them for the first time, because as a group they all sing, but they had did this throwback record and they needed some female vocals to sing with them. Well, that group was Huey Lewis and the News.
Oh my goodness.
And so he found out, and they were auditioning ladies, and so Clay Tobin put my name in the hat, and they asked me to come down and audition. Well, I did, and then I got the gig.
Wow.
At 17 years old.
Wow.
And I literally graduated from high school, and maybe about a month and a half later after that, I was in Europe touring with Huey Lewis and the News.
Wow. Great story.
Yeah.
Great story.
Yeah.
I had, I think it was Tammy McCann. I have to go back and check. Who's a wonderful vocalist. She's a trained classical opera singer. And she does jazz, and I think it was her, but it may have been someone else. I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, they were working for NASA, and and they were really bored. And she went into her boss and threw a cassette on the table, and said, "I want you to listen to this, and if you think I have talent, I quit, and if you don't, I'll be back tomorrow morning."
Right.
So he said, "You tell me what you think." So he listened to it and told her, "You're fired." It was that good. It was that good.
Wow.
The next day, she gets a call from Janet Jackson to go on tour with her. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, out of nowhere. So with Huey Lewis, and these things happen. It's serendipity. You never know.
You just, I mean, I had no training, no understanding. I mean, and there were ladies that were, of course, more experienced than I was. I mean, this was my first time leaving the country. I mean, I'm not just going to the next city, Sacramento or even New York. I'm going to Europe, and I'm there for 6 weeks.
Yep.
First time.
Yep.
My first time, just seeing the Eiffel Tower and seeing these and all these things, and it was just mind blowing.
And you're about 18?
At this point now, I'm 18 years old. I turned 18 over there. I had my first escargot. Everything. And I tell them, I used to tell Huey and the guys, I said, it's your fault I'm this person right now. It's your fault that I am Monet, because I wouldn't have been any of this if it hadn't been for you guys to allow this young, black girl from the Bay Area to come sing with you guys.
That's
And
wonderful.
they showed me the world, and it was like literally the perfect scenario situation and a group to be with, to just open my mind up. And once that happened, I was just, and this is what it looks like, and this is what it feels like, this is how it's supposed to go. Perfect scenario situation, and I'm forever grateful for that opportunity.
Well, that's a great way to break into music, I'll tell you. Yes. But, what I want to do now is play one of your songs for everybody, because I'm sure they're dying to hear,
Yeah.
what you sound like. And for fans that are listening in, they already know, but I want to give everybody, a chance to hear you. So I want to play Celebrate to start everything off.
Celebrate. Yes, celebrate. Yeah, oh, a perfect song to play. Truly. I love Celebrate.
So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about the background to this song?
Celebrate. Okay. The background of how Celebrate was, I had just wrapped up my season on The Voice, season 24 on The Voice. And at this point, I went from no one knowing who Ms Monet was to everybody knowing who Ms Monet is, from that spectrum and worldwide. And it was a beautiful experience. And I had gotten so much love and support while on the show, after the show, even to this day. And I just felt very celebratory with what I had just accomplished, because it's something I normally would not have done. But I did it. I stepped out on faith and I went ahead and did it. And just everything I was getting back, I was getting so much feedback from people saying, thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being this voice. Thank you for being that body. Thank you for being that age, everything. And it just was just a very celebratory moment for me. So I said, you know what? I want to write a song. I want to release something that is representative of how I feel and how I felt coming out of this situation. So when I got with my co-writer and collaborator, BJ Kim, and explained it to him, he was like, okay, we got something. And it was crazy because we had recorded that song before I did the show, but we never released it, and it didn't have the meaning. And when I came out the show, I said, I changed something lyrically, and I said, the meaning is here now. Now is its time. And so when we released Celebrate earlier this year, February of this year, and wow, it really, really is just, I think, the perfect intro of just to this new way of who Ms Monet is now.
Well, I love it. And that's one of the reasons I picked it. And you have Magic Smith. He's saying hello, Ms Monet.
Oh, hey. I know I got my live here on IG. Everyone's waving over here. Hey, everybody.
Wonderful. Okay, so let's play Celebrate, and then we'll come back and we'll talk some more, okay?
All right, let's do it. along with me.
We have some more fans who are tuning in.
Oh, nice.
Kenny Levinson, you have such a soulful voice. I listen to Celebrate every Friday.
Oh,
Celebrates the weekend with you.
yes, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Kenny. Yes.
Here's another one, Joey Dimucci.
Uh-huh.
I have been buying everything you put out. Love your energy, Ms Monet.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
And here's
you.
another one, Karen Boyd. Love
Yeah.
this groove.
You know, if you're not doing that with it, if you're not feeling it, if it's not making you get warm and tingly inside, I'm not doing my job. I'm not doing my job.
Well,
So
I mean, when I listen to that, I always think time to party.
it's time to celebrate.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, it literally, I'm saying, you know, we got to let, you know, the world, everything is happening around us. Life is lifing, but we're present. We're here. So let's celebrate right now. You know what I mean? Come along with
absolutely.
me, celebrate, put your mind at ease. You,
Yeah.
you can't help but just feel like, you know what? Yeah, let's do this. Yeah.
Well, I love that song. I mean,
Thank you.
I've tried to pick from your more recent music, you know, and we're going to get to even more of your recent music also, because you have such a great discography. It goes back, you know, quite a number of years now, and
Yeah.
you're building a real legacy now with your music. So,
That's what it's about.
yeah, you work with some of the most notable, respected artists, such as Boz Scaggs, Michael McDonald, the Dukes of September,
Yeah.
Huey Lewis and the News, Queen Latifah, Dee Dee Bridgewater, Joe Bonamassa, Johnny Mathis, Solomon Burke, Joe Santorini,
Yeah.
Faith Hill and Tim McGraw, Jennifer Hudson, and Raphael Sadiq.
Yeah.
How would you prioritize the many genres it this covers? How would you prioritize it in terms of, you know, your preferences?
You know, Mel, it's a good question, and I'm often asked that, and I always kind of sum it up. Just like, remember I was talking about earlier how, you know, I listened to KDIA as a kid, and it just played every genre of music.
Right.
That's just how I work. So there's not any like specific genre that I like more or less than of. All music is like this to me. All music. And that's just the way I approach it. So it allowed me, and I'm so grateful for it because it allowed me to be as diverse as I am when it comes to the variant artists that you've just mentioned. I never wanted to be someone that was only a singer in soul music, or a singer in jazz, or a singer in. I wanted to be a voice that would be able to kind of um, contort itself in whatever way it needed to go. Because I felt like that was the thing that made me special. That was the thing that gave me my edge, is that I am able to sing this genre equally as well as this genre equally as well. And it allowed me to experience all the various genres and appreciate them for the genre that it is, you know. And I'm grateful for it because, again, as a lover of music, that's what you want. That's the ultimate thing. As a lover of music, to be able to do it all, you win it. You
Well,
win it.
tell me. I'm curious about this. And how do you put together an EP or an LP? You know, is there a theme? Is there, you know, with all the multi genres, what do you do?
You know what? It's funny. My sister and I had this conversation the other day. She said, "You're just kind of that's the only thing I'm worried about because you're so many colors." And I said, and that's what makes me Monet. You know, that's what makes me Monet. I always wanted to be known as a voice, not a genre or not a singer. I just wanted to be the voice. And when I think of like certain artists that were able to do that, like for instance, we think of Aretha, and we know she's a queen of soul, but I've heard Aretha sing some classical stuff. Well, I mean, we saw her do what she did with Pavarotti, take
Yep.
over the Grammys. You know, she didn't limit herself as far as that. Another artist that I always make a mention of is Barbara Streisand.
Oh, yeah.
Barbara is another one who just It's just she's a voice. So whether she was
No,
singing Evergreen, then she'll turn
right.
around and sing Yentl, but then she'll turn around and sing Somewhere, and then she's singing Enough Is Enough with Donna Summer. She's still Barbara Streisand.
And she sang with Barry from the Bee Gees.
Guilty,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, but
Which,
she's still who she is.
yeah.
That's the kind of artist I want to be. I'm still Monet. It doesn't matter what it is.
When Barbara Streisand did Evergreen, I thought that this was a voice that came from the angels. This was nothing from this earth. You
Gosh,
know,
one of my favorite
yeah,
songs to sing
yeah,
too. I love
yeah.
singing Evergreen.
It's
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit then about some of the great producers you work with. I have a kind of a curious question. I know
Uh-huh.
you work with Walter Afanasieff and Marcus Miller and Patrick Leonard, Steve Jordan, and the great Phil Spector.
Right.
And I'm sure that there was one thing that you took away from each of these different producers
Hmm.
that was irreplaceable in your career. So if you
Mm.
had to go through them one by one, what did you learn from each of them that contributed to who you are?
Walter Afanasieff. I worked with Walter for years. He came out of Narada Michael Walton's camp, and we're all Bay Area kids, all the Bay Area and everything. His ethic, he made it possible that we were able to, you know, create these beautiful pieces and be right from where we were from, the Bay Area. Like, this is the man that is the co-writer of All I Want for Christmas Is You and Mariah Carey. He literally, Mariah is Mariah because of Walter. When I think about Steve Jordan, aside from his work with everyone from Rolling Stones to
Right.
um, John Mayer, and I just uh, uh, Phil Spector. That was a whole other thing. Each one of those producers, if they didn't do anything, they showed me what ethic really really looks like. Work ethic and appreciating the art, not trying to disassemble it in a way that we don't understand it anymore. Each one of these producers took something and made it something, but made it something enough that we were all able to adhere to it and understand it. They didn't try to contort it or disturb it. You know what I mean? They
Hmm.
kept the authenticity of what was needed for the song. So I took that probably, if anything, from each one of the producers I've worked with, um, understanding the importance of creating something, taking something, but allowing it to be understood so everyone can get it. You don't want to do something and no one understands it, or no, I don't get it. I don't under. So each one of those producers were masterful in taking something and allowing it to conform itself enough that we will all understand and get it. And it turns out to a beautiful masterpiece. So if anything, I took that from them. Take whatever it is that I'm doing, whether it's performing, whether I'm singing, whether I'm writing, remember that it's me speaking, or it's my thoughts or how I'm feeling, but I want them to understand it. I want them to see it. I want them to feel it. So if anything, that's pretty much what I probably took from each one of them.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's interesting because not there aren't many artists that get to work with a range of producers like you have. It's
Mm,
rare. And it means you got to step outside yourself a little bit. Phil
mm,
Spector worked with the Beatles. He did the Wall of Sound with them, and transformed their music into something that had never been heard before.
yeah.
So I mean, each of the different producers you work with had that gift to be able to do that. And I,
Hmm.
so, but so I guess it must have been challenging when you go to work with them, to try to figure out, where do you fit into what they do, and where do they fit into what you do?
Well, the interesting part is by the time I'm brought into that studio, they've already figured it out. And that's why they have me there, because I'm the voice that's needed for that moment. You know, I'm the voice that they hear to create whatever emotion that needs to come out for that point, for that part, you know. And so, in knowing that, again, it takes me back to being able to convert, to diversify, to know this needs to be sung this way, or this needs this be to have this kind of attitude, or this needs to have this kind of feeling. This needs to, I don't need to sing. I don't have to be as soulful. I might need to just sing it a little straight. I might need to put a little country twang on it. Just knowing and everything, and that's why it allowed me. By the time I'm in those positions, they have already figured out this is what we need Monet to do.
I'm just curious, and maybe you can help me understand this.
Mm-hmm.
You have a phenomenal voice. I said that at the outset.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is, and there are a lot of really great voices.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they choose you? Do you know?
Because I'm Monet.
I know that. I know that.
Honestly,
I think. What is in your voice? The timbre, the quality. What is it?
I think it's just it's probably a little bit of all of that. The timbre of my voice. Again, whatever emotion or whatever needs to come out or emote in that song for that lyric, they know that I'm able to do it. And one of the things I've been able to do for years masterfully is imitation. So if they need me to sing a certain way and sound like a certain artist, I can do it.
That's a unique gift. It really is.
It really, really is. And it's something that, it's I remember doing when we worked on Jennifer Lopez's first record. And, I had to sing some background parts for her on and everything. And I had to I listened to her voice and then everything until I mimicked it and got to parts so I can blend in with her and her parts and everything. And I do it often. A lot of times it's like, we need a little, okay. I did Cher's Christmas record last year and same kind of thing. You need me to sing a little, okay. I can kind of change contour my voice a certain way. So a lot of times it could be a little bit of that, but most of the time is they need this certain sound, and my voice is one of the voices that allows them to build from that.
Yeah, again, this is such a special talent. That's why I kind of wanted you to explain it a little more detail to our audience. It's like a musician who is called to sit in with a band, and they can look at the sheet music and know exactly what they need to play.
Mm-hmm.
Because they know that musician, and they know how that musician would want them to play those notes.
Exactly.
And it's a gift. A lot of most people cannot do that. It's a real gift.
Yeah.
So it's really quite remarkable.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit more about your music. You have 2 Grammy Award-winning projects that you participated in. The first was supporting vocalist in 1998 Song of the Year, My Heart Will Go On, recorded by Celine Dion. And the second is a featured vocalist in the 2016 Grammy-winning classical record, Ask Your Mama. So please tell everyone a little bit about how these 2 projects came to you.
Wow. Well, starting with My Heart Will Go On, Song of the Year, Celine Dion, produced by Walter Afanasieff. Again, I was a part of Walter's vocal team. It was about 4 or 5 of us, and who sung on a lot of the records that Walter would produce. Everybody from, like I said, from Celine to Mariah. I worked on Dusty Springfield, Michael Bolton. I mean, just
oh my goodness,
was record after record after record. And, the Beauty and the Beast, all the Disney stuff you would hear, that's all of us singing. So when it came time to do the song that he had been commissioned to produce for this movie, and it was going to be, of course, also the main song on Celine's record as well. Well, at the time, we weren't really hip to what this movie was going to be, but they were talking about it, and he was saying how, it's the Titanic, and he was kind of showing us, telling us how this one scene, and he was explaining to us, well, we were watching the one scene, and and after watching this one scene, how everybody just kind of was like, the scene he was talking about was, remember in the Titanic when the iceberg hit and then the boat, all the lights in the boat went out and it was just jet black. That was the scene he was talking about.
Okay.
And we all was like, and it took our breaths away just to, when he explained it, and we kind of, they played it for us, and we were like, oh my God, now we got to go in here and sing the song. And so we're just, singing, you're here. And she said, there's nothing I fear, now that my heart will. We're doing all these parts, and Walter is the creator of just the background part. Like, that man can arrange and build, and we're just doing all the stuff. And again, we're singing the song because this is what we do with Walter. Not to know this song would be the song of life later. And I'm a part of this song for life. So, that's how we ended up, how I ended up on the Titanic. My Heart Will Go On with Celine Dion, Song of the Year, which was amazing, and grateful for that, especially when I hear it. I had the opportunity of seeing Celine in her closing shows here in Vegas. And of course, she ends with singing My Heart Will Go On. And my voice is playing on the stage. I'm like, yes, that's me. I'm singing and everything.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I was just going to say that one of the things that a lot of people don't realize, often it's the background singers, the harmonies, the chorus, that makes the song, not the lead singer, because it wouldn't be the same, and the old saying, don't bore us, get to the chorus, and to have background vocalists who can mimic the voice, the tonality of the lead singer.
Yeah,
it's the most important element of a song, in my opinion. I always thought they should have, they have the voice, and they've had America's Got Great Talent. I always thought they should have one, called Back Us Up, and have one devoted strictly to background singers, a contest.
Hey, well, keep that idea, because it's definitely needed.
Yeah, and those are the unsung heroes of music.
Definitely, I definitely need something like that.
Well, by the way, I'm working on that with PBS.
Good. Well, hey, if you need me to consult, let me know.
It's called
Let me know.
It's called I've Got Your Back.
No, seriously, so many, of my colleagues and dear friends, vocalists that are amazing. And we all know the 20 Feet from Stardom. Like I said, one of my mentors and big sisters is Lisa Fisher.
I was just going to mention Lisa. I know Lisa too.
Yeah, at least that's my big sister.
I mean, she started with a Stone, and she comes out with a Grammy when she does her first solo album.
Mm-hmm. That's one of my mentors and big sis. And and I remember when she was recording that, telling that story, everything, and it's just crazy. That's her. That's myself. That's so many other singers, vocalists that have been doing what we're doing for years and everything. But we've, put ourselves in the supporting vocal position, to whether it's to pay our bills or to do whatever it is. Not to say it take away our dreams from being a lead person or a front person, but it's just where we end up at. It's where we are. You know what I mean? So something like that definitely needs to come to fruition.
Yeah, Lisa was so good that Mick Jagger would pull her out front to sing, duets with him in a lot of their songs. I mean, she has a remarkable voice, but those are the unsung heroes of music, the background singers. I want to play another one of your songs.
Okay.
I want to get to that now because we're starting to run down on time. I'm going to have you come back again another time.
It's all love. It's all love.
Yeah. Yep, it is. So what I want to play now, we played Celebrate. And I'm looking. And we Wonderful. I want to play Wonderful.
You want to play Wonderful?
Yes.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Wonderful You. Wow. Wonderful You was a song that I wrote for a now ex-boyfriend. But at the time it was a beautiful song and everything. But it was my way of kind of paying homage to my favorite producing teams, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. And I just felt like I wanted something that kind of reminded me of just what Jam and Lewis would do. And so when Trevor Lawrence Jr., who plays actually drums for Herbie Hancock, dear friend of mine, came up with the song and gave me the track and everything, because we were writing it for, I think, something for TV that just never happened. And I was like, that's just a great song. So I eventually released it years later, and that's how Wonderful You came into play. And it's a favorite. I love Wonderful You.
And when did you release it?
I released Wonderful You, I want to say it must have came out in like 2013 or 2014. Yeah.
Great song. So let's play Wonderful You, and then we'll talk some more, okay?
Okay.
We started out just being friends. That's how this fairy tale began. Not knowing just what to do, but I knew I wanted it with you. Now I kept a real deep down inside, not one to reveal or lose my pride. But love somehow shined on through, changed the way of thinking in my mind. There's something wonderful about you, is that you love to love me too. I pray that you'll always be in love with me, forever, ever, ever, yeah. Even through bad times, bad days, you managed to keep a smile on my face, with a love so sincere and true. Everything about you was so on time. You showed me your love was the sweetest thing. You changed me, I'll never be the same. Thank the Lord for you, and I'm so glad that you're mine. There's something wonderful about you. There's something wonderful about you. Is that you love to love me too. I pray that you'll always be in love with me, forever, never, never. The kind of special in my life. The kind of special in my life. The only thing I needed to be right. I pray that you'll always stay in love this way, forever, never, never. Yeah. We gon' do, baby, gon' do, baby. We gon' do, baby, do, baby. We gon' do, baby, gon' do it, baby. Yeah. Ooh, there's something wonderful about you. There's something wonderful about you. Is that you love to love me too. I pray that you'll always be in love with me, forever, ever, yeah. In my life, the kind of special in my life. What's all I needed to be right. I pray that you'll always stay in love this way, forever, never, 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 never. Oh, you and me together forever, never, never. Pray that you'll always be in love with me, forever, never, 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 never. We gon' do, baby, gon' do, baby. We gon' do, baby, we gon' do, baby. We gon' do, baby, do, baby.
With me, we got something going on. Say that you'll
Wonderful.
always be in love with me, forever,
Wonderful.
ever.
Beautiful. Here's a comment from Chris Candestino. Do you
Uh-huh.
sing your own backgrounds? If you are, wonderful you.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, I do when I'm in those creative ones because I love arrangements. That's one of the things
Yeah.
I love doing arrangements and I love background parts. I mean, and it's just something I enjoy. So I get in there and knock them out and make them sound real pretty.
Well,
Thank you, Chris.
obviously, Chris knew it was your voice doing the
Thank you,
backgrounds.
thank
Here's
you.
another comment.
Uh-huh.
Yusef Kanuch.
Oh,
Who does your arrangements? This is excellent.
I do. I
You do
do.
all your arranging?
I do all my
Wow.
arrangements. Like I said, I love arranging. I love background parts. I love putting them together. And especially if I'm in a co-writing scenario situation, me and that co-writer, we're producer, we'll throw some ideas back and forth. I'm hearing this. He may say, let's do this. Da, da, da. So it's a collaborative effort. A lot of times myself and the producer will get together and put everything together. But for the most part, I've already arranged it and put it in perspective. It's just about putting on tape and recording it.
Are you very involved in post-production?
Sometimes, but what I've learned to do is get out of the way because I've done my part. I let the producer do what they need to do now and everything. And human nature is okay. I want to be hands on. I want to, but sometimes you have to kind of remove yourself from that chair and allow who you have as a producer or as that person to do what they do because now they're going to take it from what you brought it and let's elevate it up. But luckily, with the producers I've worked with, especially on my stuff, they're very giving when it comes back to their ideas, and they're running by me and then let me hear it. And I might say, let's try this, or no, take that out. Let's do this. Let's da 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 everything. So we're very mindful, and I appreciate that because they don't really have to, but they want to make sure the artist is fine too. They want to make sure that I'm okay with what I'm hearing, and vice versa. So I'm very very appreciative of the producers who allow me that space.
Well, I have a question. I ask. This is a question I do ask a lot of artists who appear on my shows. How do you know when it's over? When you're working on a song, how do you know when it's time to let go?
You have to, that's a good question. That is a very good question because there's a point, and I'm a perfectionist at heart. I have OCD, and I tell you, um, but there has to get to a point where you just say it is what it is, and that's sometimes a hard disconnect, because we can keep nitpicking and keep, but then when it starts to become too sterile, we're losing. You start to lose the feeling. You start to lose the grit. You start to lose and everything. And you never want to lose that. You never want to lose the authenticity of what the song is supposed to be. So you have to know how to kind of just say, you know what, enough is enough. We gonna leave it. That note ain't right, but you know what? The feeling is there. We're gonna leave
Yeah.
it. You know.
Yeah. It's fun. The reason I'm asking this question, like Bruce Springsteen's been known to work on a song for a full year,
Hmm.
until it really sounds exactly how he wants it to sound. By
Hmm.
contrast, Paul McCartney used to go in the studio and knock out some songs in 1 hour from end to end, and he'd play all the instruments and he'd do all the vocals and background vocals and knock it out in an hour. So I mean, when do you know it's time to let the song go? It's a difficult thing. It's a difficult decision to make because people that are really good at their craft are perfectionists.
You know, it can't, again, as a person with OCD and very anal when it comes to a lot of stuff, you have to understand, again, this might be how I'm feeling, but at the same time, that's when you have to remove the hat off of yourself and say, okay, now let me listen to this as a spectator, as someone on the other side, because I need them to feel it too. Just because it sounded good to me and I'm feeling it, it might not be feeling good for them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you gotta know, you gotta again have to know how to say, you know what, you know, I might like it this way, but we all know it needs to be this way. And you got to just be able to release that. And that's where your producer, and co-writer, collaborator comes into play and says, hey, yeah, but let's look at it this way. Let's maneuver it this way. You got to know how to, and that's the beautiful part when you have someone that you is working with someone who's going to give it to you directly. They're not going to let you just, they're going to say, no, let's keep it right here.
You're raising another important point here. You need people around you that don't say yes. You need people
No,
around you that say no.
yep,
It's the no
absolutely.
you need to hear.
Absolutely.
The yes you got already.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. You
Here's a
need
guy.
you need those people, you know.
Yeah,
You need
yeah.
those people to say, nope, and
Yeah.
nope, and nope. Yeah.
When you do a song, who's the first person you ask to listen to it?
When I do after I do it and
Yeah,
play it,
after you create a new song, who's the
mhm,
first person you say, "Hey, listen to this. Let me know what you think."
my sister,
Okay, I was just curious.
my sister,
Cool.
my sister.
Here's Sir Charles, who I know. I know Sir Charles. Shout out to Sir Charles from True Reality Publishing. Love the track.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I
Here's another
appreciate
comment.
that.
When did this come out? Celebrate.
So celebrate.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm sorry. It's
Wonderful
wonderful.
You. Wonderful You. Like I said, I released Wonderful You. Like I said, I want to say it was like 2013, 2014 when Wonderful You came out.
Great song.
Yeah, it was pretty back early around that time.
Here's your friend Magic again. I love you, Ms Monet.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, let's move on and talk. We're running out of time. I want to
Okay.
play another one of your songs.
Oh yeah, we got to
Um,
play that song.
I want to play the last song for sure.
Yeah.
I can run over if you have time. You
I
have
got time.
time?
I ain't got
Cool.
nowhere to leave it with you.
Okay. Okay. Here's a thought question for you. If
Uh-huh.
you could collaborate with any artist, a composer, a lyricist, a producer, a musician, or a vocalist from any century, from any place in the world, from Beethoven to the Beatles, who would it be? Who would you love to work with? Who's on your bucket list that you'd love to work with, and why?
Yeah, producer or just period.
It could be anybody. It could be
Like,
it could be a
um,
lyricist. It could be a
I have made a mention of this, and we kind of tapped on it earlier, but I'm just going to say it. I would love to work with Annie Lennox. Annie Lennox and Sting would probably be another person.
Oh wow, yeah.
I'd love to just, yeah. Annie Lennox and well, now I'm thinking of all the people. Annie Lennox, Sting, probably Robert Plant.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because I can't get Cashmere out of my spirit.
Oh, yeah. It's so funny. Everybody talks about a whole lot of love, but Kashmir is the best song they ever did. By nothing comes close.
Cashmere,
And the way Robert Plant did that,
Cashmere. I mean, we're talking about one of the greatest voices ever.
yeah, his voice was incredible.
Ever,
Yeah.
so and him, and then and then I always say Ann Wilson from Heart was the female
Oh,
voice of Robert Plant. So
absolutely.
I can go on. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's Kate, like I told you,
Yeah.
KDIA 13. That's
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 right.
how music is in my head.
Robert Plant had the blessing of playing with one of the greatest guitarists of all times too. You know, Jimmy Page.
Remy
So
Page, come on.
yeah, yeah.
So we
You
can
can't
go
think.
on. We can go on
Yeah,
all day.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's a great choice,
Yeah.
and I'll talk to Annie about this.
Yeah. Oh, what? I'm a true story, guys. He knows Annie Lennox. I'm saying, yeah. Oh, good. Annie, I love her. I mean, just
Well, we're running down on time, so let's play the last song of the evening. I saved for last
the
that I
same.
absolutely love. Okay,
Oh, my,
and I have to have you come back. I want to talk about the fact you've sung for 3 presidents. There's so much stuff I want to come back to, but I'll have to have you come back on, maybe in 2025 when you have some time.
okay. We'll do
All
it.
right.
We'll
So,
do
the last song of the evening I want to play is one of my most recent songs, "Groove with You," with the
Groove with
great Will Downing. So why don't you
Yeah.
tell everybody a little bit about this song, then we'll play it.
Groove with You. Yes. So Will Downing and I go back like 2 flat tires. I've been singing with Will Downing as a supporting vocalist with him for I would say maybe about 8, 9 years now. And from day one, we just clicked. And I was just always just in awe of, again, this person and his work ethic and everything that Will Downing has accomplished as an artist, and from his beginning, being from Brooklyn, New York, and all the stuff, and just becoming who he is, the Prince of Sophisticated Soul. So he released a song last on his last record, and I just kind of wanted to uh, answer it. And the song was called Closer and everything. And
Yes.
he released Closer. And I remember like loving that song because I sing on that song. I'm on vocals on that song actually. And I was like, yeah, what would be fun? What would be great? And we had just released Celebrate earlier this year. And thank you everyone, DJs, for playing Celebrate. It went up to like number 5 on the UK Soul charts and all that. And I was like uber excited about that. And first thing they were saying, you got to come follow it up, follow it up, follow it up. And I'm like, okay, what I'm going to do? So because now I got to follow this song up. I'm on the Smooth Jazz cruise. I'm principal there on that. I come off the cruise, go right into touring with Joe Bonamassa. And so I'm on the road with Joe, and I'm like, when am I going to find time to do this song? So I reached back out to my co-collaborator producer again, BJ Kemp. And it's like, yo, we need another song. And so kind of went through songs. BJ's always creating and songs. He's constantly throwing stuff out. So one time I just kind of he was at his house, I was at my house, we were FaceTiming, and we were like, okay, he was throwing me some songs, and then he played this groove. And I was like, wait a minute. Okay, yeah. That's the groove. That's the groove right there and everything. And so we said, let's build off of this. And I from the day one, I kept saying, that's the groove. That's the groove and everything. And so then the next time I got with Will, I said, I have the song that I kind of want to answer closer with, but I'm gonna need your help. And he was like, well, what do you want me to do? I said, do you me and go writing it and the whole bit? He was like, of course, sure. And I was like, okay. So I called BJ. I'm like, Will's gonna do it. And he's like, okay, cool. This is gonna be great. So finally, again, but timing, trying to get everything aligned and everything. And then finally I had to go. Will and I had some shows on the East Coast, and Will was like, get over to my house. Let's knock these vocals out. And I was like, fine. So, and we were like, he said, you come sing on my stuff, and I'm sing on your stuff. Perfect. Love it to death. So I went to his home, knocked out his stuff for his new stuff coming out soon, and we started working on Groove With You. And when he first heard it, he was like, yeah, this is right. This is right. And so that's how he came. I came home, I knocked out my vocals with BJ. But when Will sent us his vocals, me and BJ was like, oh God. This is crazy. Like, this is really happening. And I was like, because Will Downing is going Will Downing it, right? He's not the Prince of Sophisticated Soul for nothing. Will did that Will thing on that song, and I tell you, it was just magic from that point on. And after we did that, I had to go back in and say, okay, I got to really answer this right, And I did my vocals, and then I tell you, BJ Kemp, that brother mixed and produced the hell out of this song. And
yeah, it's a spectacular song.
It's spectacular, and I mean, and we were touch and go and everything, and this was a man on a mission, and he was like, no, look, it got to be right, Mo, it got to be right, and I understand it now. He was absolutely correct. It had to be the masterpiece that you hear. And when I say ain't everything about Groove With You, I'm just so proud of. And obviously it's doing well because we hit number 2 last week on the UK Soul charts. We hit number 1 on the solo charts. We're number 11 across the board, and it's still moving up. And it's still
you're on media base.
Thank you, DJs. Thank you, everybody, for playing Groove With You and keeping Groove With You grooving.
Yep, it's on media base. You're in the top 10 of media base.
Top 10 media base?
Yeah,
what?
Soul. Yeah.
Top 10, you guys, you hear that?
Yeah. The song is really hot. It's a hot song. So let's play Groove With You for everybody, and then we'll come back and wrap up and talk for a little bit more. Okay?
Let's play it.
It's BJK calling Ms Monet, and we're down here. A two-step groove. Yep. Monet.
Been watching you all night. I'm tempted. I see the sexy other side of you. If what I feel is right, what I'm feeling, that you want me and I want you to. Lord, he's part of me's a need I'm about to expose. Whatever it is, my body wants to do the most. And I like it, can't deny it. While we're dancing close.
Across the room, the chemistry I feel coming from you has got me in a groove, a groove. That she's so fine. Would you mind if I grabbed her hand, put it in mine, and held it gently while we danced? Ooh, I like it, can't deny it. Damn, I wanna be a man. Girl, you give me chills. Moving and grooving, yeah, yeah. What you doing for me, yeah. Girl, you give me chills. Just grab with you, baby.
Can give you all of me. Nobody else can do the things you do. About to risk it all for you. Your hand in mine, come closer, please. I'm about to be your fantasy.
Oh, I can't give you all of me. Nobody else can do the things you do. About to risk it all for you. Baby, come a little closer to me.
Here to satisfy your needs.
What you do to me, baby?
It's still a real
You give me chills. Moving and grooving, yeah.
real lady. I like it.
Yeah.
From groove. Oh, you give me chills.
Doing for
I
me.
like it. You know I like it. Hey, groove it. Groove.
With you.
Man, I love that. You got a whole bunch of people listening into this one. This is too hot. Wow. Love the
Yeah.
groove. Will
Thank
was the
you.
perfect choice.
Thank you. Wasn't Will just the match? He was the sprinkle. He was like the cherry on the top.
Yeah, that's what I think they're saying. perfect choice for to do that. And here's somebody else, Johnny Britt Smooth.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Another one, Rebecca Reisman. I Want It.
Yes, it's available on all platforms. Please download Groove With You. You can get it everywhere. Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, all the stuff. And put it on your playlist. Keep it going. Thank you.
And here's another one, Louis Portman. Love the harmonies.
Thank you so much. I had fun putting them together. The harmonies, yes.
You got a whole bunch of people listening in tonight.
Thank you so much, everybody. I am full of gratitude. Thank you so much. Truly.
Yeah, I just want to announce I've had a lot of name artists like yourself on this show, and you just went over the 200,000 mark for people listening in tonight.
Oh my God, 200,000 people!
Yeah, it's one of the biggest. It's one of the biggest shows I've ever had on the station.
Thank you oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Everyone listening right now, from me to you, I am just, my heart is full and I'm so appreciative. And thank you so much for listening to an independent artist just spread her wings and develop within her dream. This is what I do. And this is what I've been curated to do. This is what God intended for me to do. And I'm grateful as people like yourselves that are listening and joining and appreciating my art form. And I can't thank you enough. I'm full. I'm trying not to cry right now.
Well, your gift has brought joy to everybody, so it's reciprocal. That's the beauty of being an artist. There's so much more I wanted to talk to you about tonight. And it's really too bad we don't have any more time. So
we just have to come back, part 2. We're gonna get that part 2 going. That's all.
Definitely. I want you to come back again, and I want to give a shout out to Myron Ruffin.
Yes, absolutely.
Who is the best in the business, and I was introduced finally to Ms Monet through Myron, and thank you, Myron.
Thank you, Myron. I've been shouting him out on my IG because I'm live over here. And again, yes, shout out to Myron Ruffin for just being the initiator of and the pusher of the single from day one. And I'm just so appreciative of, again, people like Myron, people like yourself, allowing artists like myself, giving us this platform. I mean, again, we're our own machines, you know what I mean? And so when you tell me I have over 200,000 people listening to me, it's just like, what?
It's 211,809 right now.
You better come and get specific on me.
Well,
211,000.
Yeah, well, you got a lot of fans out there. I got to tell you, Ms Monet.
Thank you, God. Yeah, thank you, everyone. MsMonet.com. Please send me a message on my stuff. MsMonet.com. That's MsMonet.com. You can follow me on all social platforms as well. I'm on IG as THEE Miss MsMonet. The Ms Monet. I'm on Twitter as Ms Monet. I'm on Facebook as Ms Monet. You can find me anywhere, but please send me a message. I do follow back. I send messages back. I send love back. So it's reciprocal, like you said, and I'm so appreciative. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, look, it's been wonderful having you on. And if you can stick around for a few minutes after the show, we can chat for a minute. Yes. And I want to thank you again. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening to Hitmakers. Because it's the people out there that make the artists and make the show successful.
Absolutely.
So, Absolutely. So thank everybody, and thank you again, and we're definitely going to have you back.
Absolutely. Part 2 coming soon.
For sure. Have a nice evening.
Bye.
Well, everybody, that wraps up Hitmakers for this session. Be sure to tune in on Thursday night because Thursday night we have the Jazz Confusion Power Hour. And I'm having a phenomenal vocalist, Hillary Cole, who, in my opinion, she's Sarah Vaughan. She's just an incredible jazz vocalist. So tune in on Thursday night for the Power Hour, and be sure to stay around and keep watching for the next edition of Hitmakers. So everybody, have a good evening. Mel Albin. I'm the host and the founder of the Jazz Confusion
My
Power
name
Hour.
is Dion Parson, and I'm honored to share my passion of music with you, our listening audience, through my cultural heritage.
Things can change for you too. If you want to be brand new, that is absolutely possible.